Hi, I'm Morgana the Doll Witch, where I take science and a little bit of magic to make my dolls their very best selves. And so today is the second video in the series on hair punching. And it has been a slow process. I'll just be honest with you. I've done about 5 hours, and it doesn't look like I've gotten very far, but I'm making, there's several reasons for that, and I'll explain those here in a bit. But if you haven't watched the first video, you might want to go back and watch it first, because it explains about how to prepare the TPE for hair punching, what tools you will need, and just kind of the general basic guidelines on hair punching, okay? And so there are some things that I forgot to mention that you will need. Now, I did mention plastic wrap, and I will say, anytime you're not working an area, keep it covered. If you've prepared that area with the primer, because the primer makes it sticky, which is great because it helps the hair, stick into the TPE. It also attracts every stinking piece of lint, dust, particles a mile away. I mean, not a mile away, but you know what I mean. So you want to keep that area clean. Also, make sure you wash your hands. Now, I always wash my hands before I'm working on the dolls, but we still have oil and stuff that is on our hands, and that will get on the TP and discolor it. And so you might have to go back and clean the area. I did that before this video. I had to go because his tin was getting a little grubby, and I cleaned it. I had to clean it a couple of times. And then there's some things that you need that I didn't mention. You need like a toothbrush. This is a medium bristled toothbrush. It's an old one. I washed it and cleaned it and sanitized it before I started using it, but waste not, whatnot. But use this to, kind of smooth the hair. You want to make the hair lay the direction you want it to lay. Depending on the length of hair that you're using, you might want to use a wide tooth comb or even the pick comb to keep the hair from tangling, because if it tangles, there's a chance you catch it and you yank hair out, and you don't want to do that, right? And so I didn't mention that in the other video, and I apologize. So I will, and I'll make sure I put in the comment section for the first video, I'll talk about that too. Okay? Now, I've worked about 5 hours, and I'll show you how far I've gotten. So I didn't start at the jawline. I started back here under the chin. And so I started back here, and I've worked up. And yes, I've only gotten that far in 5 hours. But one of the reasons for it is I'm using my own hair. Now, if you see my other videos, you see my hair was much longer. I actually had my hair cut, and I'm using that hair as the majority of his hair for his goatee is going to be my own hair. I cut my hair, and then I also harvested it from, my brushes for like the last, 4 or 5 months. So that's where I'm getting the hair from. I also have some synthetic hair that I'm also filling in. I've got some white, some gray, and some black that I'll be using. This is the model, and I did mention this in my other video. The model for Exil's goatee, let's see if I can get this to come off, is Christopher Pines. And if you see his goatee, you see how it's white, that lighter color down here, and then it goes up to blonde. Well, Exil's is going to be like similar to that, but instead of blonde, it'll be like dark gray and black, okay? And because Exil's an older doll, that's what I have done with him. So I made him look older. So following with that, and I looked at, hundreds and hundreds of pictures of goatees, and looking at how the hair on men's faces change as they get older. And it's kind of one of these things. It seems like you guys, when you get older, your hair just starts getting lighter and lighter as you get older and older, and it just keeps going up until you got you're all gray and white. Which I totally understand, because my hair is all gray, but my eyebrows are still black, and eyelashes are black. So it is what it is, right? And so that's part of the reason why it's taken me a while, because this is, you know, this is the hair that was cut, and it's all different lengths. And then, you know, wadded up hair from brushes. You know, I have to straighten that out. And so that's kind of challenging. And so that's part of the reason why I'd say I've only gotten this far in 5 hours. But I still think I'm in my framework of 20 hours because I think, and I mentioned this in my other video, this is going to be about 20 hours worth of work. Hair punching is not something that you can do fast if you want to do it right. An eyebrow will take you 4 to 6 hours, straight up. I know when I did Exil's body hair, it took me, his chest and abdomen took me about 25 hours, and then his pubic hair took me about 10. Agaris's took a lot longer to do his eyebrows and goatee because he's a WM. And I will be doing another video series on hair punching on WM dolls because their the TPE composition is much different than Exil's. He's a 6Y3. A Gale, he's a Quinta. And so they've got a different TPE composition that makes it easier to hair punch. And so WM, there's some things you have to do to prep it, and you have to do as you're punching it in to keep the TPE from shredding, and also to keep the hair from getting sucked in, which I know that sounds crazy, but it happens. And so that the hair doesn't shed, okay? Now, the thing with hair punching, no matter what you do, it's going to shed, okay? Sorry, that's just... but there's some things you can do to minimize it, so you know, so that you don't have to go back as often and like do some fill-ins and touch-ups. And so one of that is with preparing the TPE with the primer, and the other one is as you're punching. So I should have done, and I did do this as I went along, okay? And you want to prime that, you want to put some more primer on the area, and for 2 reasons. One is it will close those holes, because basically you're punched holes in your doll's skin. It closes up those holes, and it also makes the hair stick, okay? And what you do, you take your this is the 3M94 tape primer, and I will have the list of this in the comment section. And I take a paintbrush, that one will work, and I just put, you don't put a lot. And what you do is you go down to the base of the hair, okay, where the base of the hair meets this TPE. And you just go in there, and it's okay if you get the primer on the hair. It's not that big a deal, okay? Once it's dried, once the primer is completely dried, you can go back and clean the hair with alcohol. Now, don't be too aggressive about it because you don't want to pull the hair out, and also you don't want to dissolve that primer because the primer is what's holding the hair in. And so it's kind of a catch-22. You just got to be careful with it. And I'm just putting a little bit on the skin. So that it will close those little holes up and make the hair stick. And, you know, don't wait at the end to do this. I should have, you know, as you're going through, you do a line, put the primer in. Do the next line, just do it in that area, okay? And so, I'm just going in here. Put a little bit more down here, because I'm not, okay. It's going to be a mess after this, but that's okay. All right. And so, clean my brush real quick. Always keep your brushes clean. I don't know if you've watched my videos, you probably heard me say that about 100 times already. Keep your stuff clean. A very militant art teacher in high school. He was always like, keep your brushes clean. He was a fabulous artist, but he was like, look at this brush, it's dirty, you know. There was like a speck of paint on it or something, I don't know. So, anyway. All right, so I have, you know, I primed the TPE again. I'm keeping the plastic, any area that I'm not working on, keep it covered with plastic. Poor Exil's had plastic over his face all for the last 5 days. Poor guy. But he can still breathe. I didn't cover his nose. Right? All right. So here's how you punch in hair. And so I'm wanting to fill in this area right here with lighter color, because if you looked at the picture, you know, he had like light color here. Ooh, sorry, my hair's in the way. He had a lighter color here. And so I'm just using some of the synthetic hair. I'm going to use some white because I did gray last night. Let me guess. Hang on. Okay. Now, when you're using synthetic hair, it's great because, so this is a hank of hair that I got, and I think I got this on Allied Express. Okay, lots of places you can get hair. Talk about that here in a moment. I think this wasn't very expensive. I also have three black ones. I don't know. I didn't know how much hair would get, how far it would go. And so, yeah, a little goes a long way with this. So the good thing is it's all the same length. So you grab it in the middle of the little hank of hair, and you just kind of put it over your finger, okay? And I'm using the needle. It has it's a U needle, and it has a long point on one end is longer than the other. Oh, I don't have the right one. Sorry. And I know you can't really see it very well, but one end is longer than the other. And so I like that because you can catch the hair and punch it in. And so I just hold my hair. Now you might want to hold it differently. I've seen where they lay it across and they punch it in that way. Let me see if I can get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know if I can get that any closer, folks. Anyway, so I'm just I got the long end pointed to the hair. Just grab a couple of strands and I punch it in. And here's the thing, when you're punching the hair in, the hair will lay by the direction the end of your needle is pointing. So if you put it like this, the hair is going to stick up. If I punch it straight in, the hair is going to stick up like that. I want it to lay across, you know, around the chin. So I'm punching it in so that it will do that. Now, and I punch it in as an angle, okay? And so that the hair will lay that way. Now, in my other video, I mentioned that you don't want to punch in more than like 2 or 3 hairs. 1, 2, 3 hairs. And because you start having hair fall out. Having said that, using my own hair is a little different because my hair is very thin and fine. And so I can actually punch in like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 strands and it'll still be fine just because my hair is so thin. The deal with that is it doesn't take, you're not getting as much space. You're just making it fuller, okay? So the more hair you punch in, it's not going to make your progress, cover more area. It's just going to make that area more full. So if you want really thick, and I do kind of want his goatee to be kind of thick, you're going to want to punch in more hairs and you're going to punch them in closer together, okay? I'll just do a couple more. And then I'll show you what to do if you have missed a spot, because there's nothing you can do about missing a spot. It happens to the best of us. I think that's good. And so I'm doing a lot of white right here and a little bit darker here, just kind of following along with the picture that I have. And so say you missed a spot. You're like, oh crap. And you want to go back through. I know you probably heard in the background that noise. That's my peacock. I actually have a pair of peacocks. And it seems like every time I do a video, he doesn't say a peep until I start doing the video. And then he starts yelling. So that's what you're hearing in the background. Nobody's being killed. It's my peacock yelling. Because he thinks he's all sexy and all that. Anyway, so say you think you've missed a spot. You go through and you're going to want to go through and look. Did I fill in the area well? So I take a couple of threads or strands, put on my finger just like I did before. And I take my needle and I catch those strands in the U. Oops, if it'll let me. And then I spin the needle, okay? And so you see and I know you can't really see it because of my camera, but the threads, the hairs are spun around the needle. So then if you've got a place that's a bare spot, I'm trying to see, I've been pretty good about that. I don't really want to put black hair there. Okay, I'll just do it right here. Yeah, that's a bare spot. So the thing is, then you can move the hair, you find your bare spot, and you just stick it in there, okay? And that's how you can fill in if you got bare spots, and you just keep doing that with one or two hairs, okay? Until you get that area filled in like you want it. And so, you know, you just keep punching. Like I said, you go from the base and you work up, because if I started up here, then I'd be trying to punch under hair, and you don't want to do that. That's why you start at your end point where, you know, the base, and move up. Now there's lots of places you can get hair. Sally's or a beauty supply warehouse, you can pick up, you know, synthetic hairs. Sometimes you can buy human hair. I am going to say this, and this is my own personal opinion. I would be hesitant to buy any human hair that come from China. And the reason why is, in China, most of the human hair they sell has been forcibly, involuntarily harvested from people who are being kept in concentration camps, okay? And so I choose not to be part of that. And so there are other places you can get human hair, your own, family members. If you go to a beauty salon and say, hey, I need some hair for a project, I need this color, make a deal with them. I'll pay you $10 for a pound of hair. Although you're probably not going to need a pound of hair, because a pound of hair is a crap ton of hair. But anyway, you could say, I need make a deal with them if you can get me this hair. Brazilian hair, that should be okay. Hair from India should be okay, because a lot of women, that's what they do, is they grow their hair out and they cut their hair and sell it to make money. There's also yak hair. It's not human hair, but it feels like human hair. It's kind of really thick, kind of kinky deal. I actually think it's really cool. And I'm considering getting some of that for Egale. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, but I might get some of the yak hair for his goatee, or for his facial hair and body hair. And so, this does take time. So be prepared. It's not, if you want it to look right, it's going to take you some time. It is a little tedious. I don't sit here and punch in hair when I actually sit on the couch so I can watch TV or watch my computer, because this is really hard. And you're going to find, please take breaks, because you're going to find your shoulders doing this, and they're going to get tight, 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 and you're going to get really sore, and you're going to be hurting. So take some breaks, do some stretching exercises, take care of yourself while you're taking care of your dolls. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave me a message in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We always appreciate if you give us a like and subscribe, because if you subscribe, then when our videos come out, you get notified that we have a new video out. And once again, I am Morgana the Doll Witch, where I take science and a little bit of magic to make my dolls their very best selves.